It is Thursday, April 4th, 2012, and you're listening to Cannabis Radio and the Edson Report. I'm your host, Warren Edson, and today we're produced by Christopher Custer. During today's show, it's going to be short and sweet because luckily there's not a lot of news. But we're going to discuss the current status of the Tennessee medical marijuana bill, the current status of medical marijuana in the state of New Jersey. We're going to update you on the latest votes in the state of Colorado regarding medical marijuana, address a few Oaksterdam rumors, and answer a listener's question. Who would have guessed it? But let's get rolling here, Chris. To begin with, let's address what's going on in Tennessee. We've watched in fascination through this Tennessee legislative session as State Rep. Gene Richardson introduced the Safe Access for Medical Cannabis Act. It has bopped along through the legislature there and received really fascinating testimony in a very positive way in regards to medical marijuana. Now, over the last week or so, it had been heard by the House Health and Human Resources Committee, and after that testimony and a positive vote in that Republican-dominated committee yesterday, Ms. Richardson did withdraw the act. Now, it's kind of an unusual move, but given Tennessee politics, it appears to be what needed to be done. The main point was to get this information out there so this bill can be reintroduced in the fall, and they hope to push it through at that time. We want to thank Attorney Paul Kuhn for keeping us updated on the latest in Tennessee. Now, in regards to New Jersey medical marijuana remains stagnant. As many of you probably know, New Jersey approved medical marijuana way back in January 2010, over 2 years ago. Yet the patients in New Jersey still do not have access. They've gone through over 2 years of delays. Essentially, 6 businesses were approved to distribute medical marijuana last year, but they've had issues finding towns that will let them set up shop and do business. Of the 6 approved businesses, 4 have run into problems with local approval. Surprise, surprise, does it sound familiar to any of you Coloradoans? Anyway, we're finally seeing some action in New Jersey. Plaintiff and medical marijuana patient Richard Corporuso has hired great attorneys, William Buckman and Ann Davis. 2 names that are familiar to many of you Cannabis Radio listeners. And they are challenging what's going on in New Jersey and hopefully pushing forward with some action. They are claiming that Governor Christie's administration has been implementing rules for medical marijuana that are, quote, designed with the intent, end quote, to interfere with the program. We want to wish the attorneys and Richard very good luck with that suit, and hopefully patients in New Jersey will get better access to medical marijuana soon. Now, as many of you heard over the last couple days here on iCannabis Radio and the Edson Report, we've been discussing recent municipal votes in Colorado. On Monday, we were urging voters to get out and vote, and yesterday and Wednesday, we were reporting that, unfortunately, Fruita had voted no and Lyons had voted yes, meaning Fruita had said no to medical marijuana dispensaries while Lyons had said yes. We were still up in the air on Crawford. Unfortunately, I'm here to report today that Crawford said no to medical marijuana centers, so there will not be medical marijuana centers allowed in Crawford. Overall, that left the medical marijuana community 1 and 2 in the latest round of elections, and that is not good, Coloradoans. We need to get our act together and push this issue forward. Next, we have rumors coming out of the recent Oaksterdam raids. As many of you are aware, Oaksterdam University was raided last Monday, and we have pondered here aloud here on the Edson Report as well on other iCannabis radio shows as to why that happened. Rumors are abound in Oakland and on the internet that Oaksterdam was shut for being too close to a school. While that appears to still remain a rumor, we will update you at the point that becomes fact. At this time, there's no indication that Oaksterdam University had received a letter, so it would surprise me if that was the reason they were closed. But again, they might have received a letter and not told us. They do continue to vow to reopen. And finally, we want to address a listener's question. As we reported, in fact, I just discussed, and many of you actually watched here live on Monday, thanks to the folks at Oakstown Live. Oaksterdam was raided, and we watched as records were seized out of the building. In response to that information, a listener asked if we knew if records were seized during the recent arrests of doctors in Larimer County. Well, our crack reporter here, Chris Custer, fired off a letter yesterday morning to the Larimer County Sheriff's Office, and lo and behold, we received an almost immediate response, and I'll read it for our listeners. It says, "Hello, Chris. I understand you called and left a message regarding seizure of records in our agency report regarding the arrest of Joseph Montanti and Dallas Williams. Larimer County Sheriff's Office did not seize any records in this case." So for our listeners, I'll again read that sentence. Larimer County Sheriff's Office did not seize any records in this case. If you have any questions, you may contact the Public Information Office at 970-980-2501. Again, the Larimer County Public Information Office at 970-980-2501. Thank you. From Jennifer Hillman, the Public Information Officer at the Larimer County Sheriff's Office. So we'd actually like to thank Ms. Hillman for that really prompt response so we could get that out to our listeners as soon as possible. And we'd also like to thank our listeners for giving us some questions to answer. Again, thanks for tuning in to the Edson Report on iCannabis Radio here on Thursday, April 4th, 2012. We'll be back tomorrow. We want to remind folks that this show is sponsored by absolutely no one and will continue to be so. And finally, if you have any questions for us, please go to www.icannabisradio.com. There's a little box on the right-hand side. You can click on Contact Us. You can fill in for information as much or as little as you want, but there's a big box to ask questions. And that will get to us, and we'll make Chris here do some more work and get back to you. So again, thanks for listening. Bye.
Someone's hiding in the bushes with a telephoto lens, while their editor assures them the means justifies the ends. 'Cause we only hunt celebrities, it's just a bit of fun. But Scousers never buy the sun. While the parents of the missing girl cling desperately to hope, a copper takes improper payments in a thick brown envelope. And no one in the newsroom asks, where's this headline from? Scousers never buy the sun. Tabloids make their money betting bullshit baffles brains, and they cynically hold up their hands if anyone complains. And they say, look, all we're doing is giving people what they want. Well, they're crying out for justice, people crying out for justice. And the man they call the digger casts a proprietary eye over what happens in the gutter and what goes on in the sky. And he claims he's fit and proper, and the watchdog sings his song. The Scousers never buy the sun. International executives, they hang their head in shame and tell us with their hands on heart that the paper boy's to blame. But you who love that kiss and tell, you must bear some guilt as well. Scousers never buy the sun. Tabloids making millions betting bullshit baffles brains, and they cynically hold up their hands if anyone complains. And they say, all we're doing is giving people what they want. Well, they're crying out for justice, people crying out for justice. Sit down to sup with the devil and his minions, and they ask for his opinions. And the politicians wring their hands and cry what's to be done. But Scousers never buy the sun. start looking good when all is said and done. But the Scousers never buy the sun.